All right, what's up, y'all? So as you are embarking on implementing some health changes, I think it's super useful to number one, acknowledge what the most important things are to focus on, and then number two, visualize where they fit in to your day based on your life situations. And when you do that, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And the way that I like to do this is with a technique I call my perfect day, visualizing my perfect day. And by the way, I use this with just about every single one of my health coaching clients. Now, before I get into how to actually do that, I just want to make a plug for a couple of important ideas or concepts, all right? Number one, pro tip, you got to make yourself and your health a priority. And that means that when we talk about these most important things that you want to plug into your perfect day, you deserve to have the time that it takes to commit to these different health activities, because a better you is better for anything and everything in your life that you care about. Now, you might say something like, yeah, but I got all these people that depend on me, how can I take time for myself? And I would say, exactly, you got people that depend on you. And so it is crucial that you make yourself and your health a priority. And what you're going to find is when you make yourself and your health a priority, everything in life gets easier. Now, before I get into the actual exercise, I want to make you aware of this concept that I call the perfectionist mindset. We want to avoid the perfectionist mindset. All we're looking to do right now is figure out what are the most important things and when can I fit those things in to my perfect day. Now, those things, you don't have to be perfect at them. And let me give you an example. A lot of people, when they say, hey, I know that I need to work out, so, gosh darn it, it's the first of the year and I'm going to start running 2 miles every single morning, and I'm going to join a gym and work out for an hour every day during my lunch break, and I'm going to take an extra yoga class. And that's perfectionist mindset. It's like doing too much at once. And what happens with that is that you can sustain it for a little bit, and then at some point you can't. And then the perfectionist mindset says, well, if I can't sustain it, then I might as well just throw my hands up and walk away and do something else because this isn't working for me. So we want to avoid the perfectionist mindset. We just want to have this attitude of what are the most important things? When can I find time for these things in a day, even though I don't have to commit to a lot of time and I don't have to commit to a perfect process just yet? What I want to do is cultivate the habit of showing up to these most important things. And then once I have the habit of showing up to these important things, within that habit, I can start to optimize. All right, so the first step is acknowledging what are the most important things. And these are what I would consider to be the most important things from a health perspective. Rise time, bedtime, real food nutrition, fitness, and then personal quiet time. Now that's a relatively simple list. We're going to go through each one of them. So rise time. What time do you need to get up, ideally, to make it an amazing day? And that includes having time to do the things that are important to you to get done in the morning for you to make it an amazing day. So what time do you need to get up in order to not feel rushed, so that you can make your coffee, so that you can use the bathroom and do all the personal things that you do in the bathroom? If you plan on doing a little bit of fitness in the morning or a brief walk, factor that in. And if you plan to have some kind of personal quiet time, factor that in as well. Now again, with the ideal rise time, avoid perfectionist mindset, which says, okay, if I'm getting up at 6 a.m. right now and I want to start doing all these things, I'm going to start getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. What is reasonable and doable and maybe slightly challenging, but doesn't stretch you too thin. Now notice, so far, we haven't added anything to your day. We're just acknowledging what's the ideal time for us to get up in the morning. The next most important thing is your ideal bedtime. What time do you need to get to bed in order to wake up at your ideal rise time to make it an amazing day? What time is a reasonable bedtime for you to have the time to wind down, disconnect, and get into bed, to have the amount of time in bed that you need to feel rested in order to wake up at your ideal rise time? Now again, avoid perfectionist mindset here and don't make too big of a jump from what you're doing right now. If you need to get to bed earlier than what you're doing right now, you can take it in small increments. So if you're getting to bed at 10:30 right now, but now based on your ideal rise time, you need to get to bed a little bit earlier, instead of going straight to 9 p.m., you can start with getting to bed at 10 p.m. And as that feels comfortable, you can start to improve that as time goes on. Now again, so far we have not added anything to your day. We're just acknowledging what are the ideal times for these two things that we already do. Now the next important thing is your real food nutrition. And without even understanding what an ideal real food nutrition program is, now you're going to learn what the optimal real food nutrition plan is, but in the meantime, all we're looking to do here is figure out, when does our real food nutrition fit in? So starting out, for most people, I think it's ideal to follow the traditional breakfast, lunch, dinner format. So now looking at your day, what are the times that you can commit to have a little brief period of time that you can eat for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner? And again, up to this point, we have not added anything. We're just acknowledging the most important things that we do already, and with a little bit of an intention, we're just trying to make them a little bit better. All right, the next important thing is fitness. So think to yourself, when can you do something for yourself related to fitness? It doesn't have to be a full-blown workout, although it can be. It doesn't have to be going to the gym, although it can be. If you're crunched for time and if you have a lot of responsibilities, what we want to do here is show up to a specific time period with an intention to work out. Now, this could be something as simple as going on a 5-minute walk around the block. It could be a little bit longer of a walk. It could be like a little 5 to 10 to 15-minute session inside your garage or in your living room. So just think to yourself, if you have to squeeze in some time for yourself to do a little bit of fitness, when is the ideal time to do that, and for how much time? What's reasonable, doable, maybe slightly challenging, but isn't going to stretch you thin. So now here we have finally added something to your day if you're not already doing something. But this something doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be something. Now again, avoid perfectionist mindset, which says, I'm going to go all out and I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to start doing some running and some yoga and combine all these things. What is reasonable, doable, slightly challenging, but isn't going to stretch you thin. And then finally, another most important thing to focus on is personal quiet time. When can you have some time to yourself, and where would that be? And again, here, it doesn't have to be a long duration. It can literally be 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It can be sitting at the edge of your bed, at your dining room table. It could be sitting outside on your patio. It could even be sitting inside your vehicle with the windows rolled up before driving off to work, or after you arrive to work, before getting out of your vehicle to go into work. When is some time that you can dedicate to yourself for some personal quiet time? Again, perfectionist mindset would say, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes. I'm going to do all this journaling. But what I'm saying is start with something that's doable, reasonable, maybe slightly challenging, but it isn't going to stretch you thin. As you're trying to figure this out, if it feels a little bit overwhelming, just keep in mind, all we want to do is cultivate the habit of showing up to these things. And we can always come back and revisit this exercise as we get down our path and we learn more about the specifics of what we need to do with our nutrition and our fitness and our quiet time and our sleep. Now, the final part of this exercise is using the worksheet, My Perfect Day. And all you're going to do is take this worksheet and plug in these most important things at the times that you figured out are doable, reasonable, maybe slightly challenging, but isn't going to stretch you thin. And once you put that on your sheet, now you have visualized a perfect day. Now it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Now what might have seemed impossible seems very doable and possible. Questions, comments, feedback, even snide remarks, you can send it my way, and keep it real.